All right, check out this new Butte we just picked up. 2025 Triumph TF 250X, the motocross bike. Never had a motocross bike, not a true one. Got this, got a hell of a deal on it. Pretty sweet bike. It's got 20 hours, I think, on it. I think is what it is. It's technically this girl that races for a local dealer. Where is it? Oh, there we go. 13, I don't know if you can see that. 13.4 hours is what it's showing. See if I can get the focus. No, well, whatever. It's got 13.4 hours on it. Yeah, local shop sponsors a women's pro and a national pro. He's like top 50-ish. Well, this is her bike from Minio's, her practice bike. We got the garage dog checking it out. Ended up having him put on the Enduro or the cross-country skid plate from Triumph. Mounts up nice, high sky. Have that. Everything else is stock as of right now. We currently have the 19-inch rear wheel. I am getting an 18-inch rear. My guy Dave's gonna help switch this out for me. Get me an 18-inch rear so I can feel like a Harescramble guy or something or other. But pretty good shape. I am running the stock tank for the MX bike, so technically that's like 1.8, I think 1.85 liters. And I made it all year last year with the Kawasaki, which has a 1.6 liter tank. So I don't know, I'm gonna try the motocross tank. See if I run out of gas, I guess. But yeah, so some of the goodies that get picked up go on it. We're gonna put on a shark fin, rad guards because I don't ride a bike without radiator guards. I'm upscaling 1 tooth larger rear sprocket. Some of the guys online, I think Kiefer with the testing group, they were talking about liking it for motocross and just in general, so we're just gonna start with that. Got 2 oil filter kits, 2 twin airs, and the wash cover caps. I love these things. You've never had one, it changes your life washing. Way better than sticking the air filter in a plastic bag. So we're gonna tear this bad boy apart, see what we can do. I think I'm gonna end up getting a Tusk radiator fan, kind of like what I did with the KX. Seemed to be a lot better as far as maintenance and just, I don't know, it felt like it ran better. I don't feel like I definitely didn't overheat the bike as often on the KX. And I honestly wonder if I would have had the fan kit if I wouldn't have fried my clutch, which I think also in turn fried the motor. So I'm just gonna start out with it and call it a day. I got bark busters coming from Acerbis. They should be here in the next couple days. Also have the frame guards because I love those. I wonder, I have a leftover Enduro Engineering titanium tip. I wonder if that'll fit. Let's try that out. Yeah, it's basically just protection parts. I am gonna put the Acerbis map on the ECU. A lot of guys online are saying that richens up the bottom, just has more usable power. So I think we're gonna start out right there because these things come a little lean from the factory. And for Enduro, or off-road, I guess, we're gonna be lower on the pipe more, so lower on the power. So I think I wanna try that. Probably gonna end up with Maxxis tires on this. Maxxis is helping me out this year, so I think we're gonna try Maxxis SIs for this bike, and then the Cowie over there. I think we're gonna switch. The Cowie might be a practice bike this year. I'm not sure yet. Other than that, there's not a lot to do to this. Really just itching to ride. I think I am gonna do, I know I have graphics and plastics coming. Put these on the shelf up in the attic. Keep it so whenever I want to sell it, I can just throw these on and looks gently used. I think I'm gonna do, so my dealer Dave, he has a partnership with K-Tech suspension. So I think we're gonna try out K-Tech suspension because I never did the suspension on my Kawi last year and I kind of wish I would have. So, but yeah, we're gonna take this thing apart, check out all the ins and outs, make sure we got dielectric grease wherever it's needed. Nick, the national racer at the shop, he said when it came back from Minios, they greased the linkage, swing arms, all the bearing throughout the entire chassis has all been greased. So we don't have to do that. We are going to do that to the Kawi this weekend, but yeah, show you the new bike and check everything out. Ooh, there's some dirt on there. Come on, Nick. Not even going to wash up the bike for me. Looks like it's got a little bit there. But yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to put the rest of the fun parts on. Weird bolt. Ooh. Decently clean. Somebody power washed her. Alright. Not too bad. Really weird bolts though, like, check out these bolts. Not KTM spec, they're not Jap spec, they're just weird. That's wild. So those right there, I just dropped one. They're super light. I honestly think those might be aluminum. Super lightweight. Other bolt at. Okay. Apparently the Apparently the tank is stuck on, so you guys can see it in there. In there, there's a fat bolt that you can't get to with the tank on. So I guess we're gonna take the tank off the bike to get to the radiators. Put on our radiator guards. So, all right, we're gonna try and take off the air box. Let's see how this comes apart. Yeah, that was slick. A lot more room in here than the Kawi. Check that out. Kind of an interesting clip deal right here for that. It's a rubber little strip. Kind of slick. Came out nice. Real nice sealing surface in here. Check that out. Nice lipper all the way around. Airbox got a drain. I think it's got a drain. Let's check that out better. So it does have a airbox screen under a twin air. It's very similar twin air to the KTM's, but slightly different. So definitely cutting that out. All those things do is rob horsepower. And with the Acerbis map that I'm going to throw in, it'll actually help a lot. Basically be like free horsepower. So I had to do some digging to be able to see this. So yes, it does have a drain right out that black flap right there. So that's sweet. The Cowie had to drill a hole, so at least Triumph actually was thinking when they designed this thing. You got connections there, connections up here. All right, so, ooh, fuel pumps right there on the back instead of underneath. Who thought that was a genius idea? That's way better than everybody else does. Ooh, look at that. Get the owner's manual off of a QR code. Kind of slick. I will say the aluminum frame on these is so beautifully crafted. So in case you guys didn't know, I'm a mechanical engineer in the research development group at my job. So I do have a little bit of background with mechanics, mainly design. Not saying I'm an expert or I know how to do it better than these guys, but I've been doing it for years now and I have a little bit of an idea what I'm talking about. Check, wow, look at that. That's a beefy, look at that drain hose. What is this drain? Is that the vent hose for the motor? I think that's the vent hose for the, it might be the vent hose for the head maybe, I don't know. Or the valve train, something, I don't know. We'll have to look when we pull this tank. What a cool, beautifully designed frame. I mean, those welds are gorgeous. Awesome bike. Awesome bike. So I did pull off the plastics. Oh, look at that. Little sag indicator. It's the little things on this bike. Beautiful. Nice ground. Have to clean. I'll clean that up before we put it back together. I am getting new plastics. I think I already said that. I'm not sure when they'll be in, but well, they put this on. This is aftermarket. This is not stock with the TEs. I think this is, or the TFX. I think this is standard with the Enduro and the cross-country models. Cool. I don't love these bolts. It's like the same as a KTM, but not as convenient as having the hex head and the Torx option. Torx do tend to be a better bolt, but as far as holding up, but still, how many people have the thing for it? Huh. Supposedly you can put the kickstand on these. I saw somebody do it where you basically bolt it on here and then you fab some sort of little bracket here to hold the kickstand spring. But honestly, I don't use my kickstand that often. And if I do, I'm being lazy or it's on a practice day. I don't know, we'll see. So this is kind of cool. So this is what holds the number plate on, and it also is how the hour meter is held. That's really cool. Very simple, very cool. Pro taper style. Ooh, beautiful piece. Anodized aluminum. I think it's a black anodized. Doesn't quite feel like powder. I think that's some black anodized. Beautiful black anodized. All billet. No casting. All machine components. Love that. It does have the Brembos, which I'm happy to go back to. So the Brembos have much wider brake and clutch. Whereas, so one of the things a lot of people are hating on the Cowies is this brake lever over here is super narrow. You can see it, but it'll actually like hurt right there. So I'm super excited to go back to Brembo. I always loved the Brembos on my KTM in the beta. Well, one of them was a beta. I think the clutch was on Brembo on a beta. I don't know, something like that. Aluminum carbon fibers. I wonder if these are stock or this is what Haley rode with. Okay, that's kind of cool. Little indicator deal. It's wild. Can't believe they actually grooved that into the bar. Cool. Look, there's some miscellaneous stuff it's missing for, assuming the headlight maybe? Is that what this is for? That goes to the map switch. What's this one for then? Oh, I know what that is. I bet you this is to the starter that goes on the fender, the motocross style. I'm gonna goop all these bad boys up with some dielectric grease since we're taking all the plastics and such apart, but we'll get to that here in a bit. So I figured out what the tank was missing. There's the KTM style little rubber grommet in there. It's a grommet bolt combo. Sorry you can't see very good. Maybe this will help. There you go. It's held in with that. Looks like there's two different so there's a seat holder there, and there's a seat holder back here. Impressive. Oh, check that out. So you can see the little Triumph logo down the swing arm. Cool. So let's get you back set up. Pop the tank real quick. So you can see that, but there's a plug right there that goes in the back of the fuel pump. I think there is. Yeah. Bring it down here. You got this guy to pop off. We'll do that real quick. See if I can do this with you guys right here or not. Okay, this will probably bleed gas all over me, won't it? Probably. Grab a quick rag. Kind of pull that yellow thing out. You can kind of see that pop right there. So pop him out. Pull. Not too bad. Gas still smells good, which I expect. She probably ran race gas in this, to be honest. Nice. Okay. Way easier, I will say that. So that is so much easier than the Kawasaki. It's not even funny. Kawasaki is an absolute pain in the ass. We'll say their wiring harness setup on these is clean. Rubber dampers. Okay, so we got 2 bolts. There to take out. Take our louvers off. At least they're bolted on instead of like that plastic rivet KTM crap. Wow. These are beefy boys. Wow. Honestly, that's basically, that thing's dang near strong enough to be a radiator brace. Wow, not bad. Radiators are still perfect, but we do have a little bit right here. You can see that. We're gonna try and straighten a couple of those up before we put this Enduro Engineering on. We're gonna do that quick. Let's see if we can get you guys down here. See how zoomed in that is. There you go. So all I do is come in here with a pick, and you're not trying to make it perfect. You're just trying to make sure that airflow goes through smooth. So you just kind of want to make sure that all these are open and they're not really blocking your air. Is the only real thing you're doing. You're just trying, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just kind of some of these bad ones. And don't break it trying to make sure it's perfect. Like, I'm just gonna live with that. Come over here and do this side maybe. Grab my nice handy dandy Milwaukee. And it's kind of hooked on like right here, here, and here. It's right in that there. Oh, I guess there's only 2. Is all it's hooking it on. Pretty nice. Nice little setup. I don't know if I like those plastic tabs. Oh, it's the entire side of it. Okay. Weird, but all right. Little cable tray management over there. Huh. Wild. Oh, I forgot. I was gonna do some radiator fixing. So let's see, what do we got here? A little bit there. There. You can get little plastic pick deals that do this a lot smoother. I just never have bought them, which is wild because I have like every specialty tool you can have for a dirt bike because I am weird, but there we go. Again, just kind of opening everything up. Okay. All right, so this is what we got to work with from Enduro Engineering. Look at this. Nice rib on the back side, like beefy aluminum. You got these rubber grommets here, and you'll see here in a second what that's for. So we're just doing Enduro Engineering up. They provided us with a couple bolts. I don't know if they're any longer. They're not. They're actually less long. wonder if the height is that. Basically the same thickness. I don't know if I like that or not. I might just try putting the stocks in. Okay, so we gotta. We fit into a little socket up there, which I'll show you here in a second once I get these started. Not wanting to? Cool. Why are you not wanting to? Oh, I'm not even lined up. That would explain a lot. Alright, so now you can see up here, you have a little slot to fit in that radiator rubber bumper there. You have the same thing at the bottom. Huh. Interesting. Now, I know you see me do everything with the nut driver. I do not tighten things all the way though with it. We do our little 1/4 inch ratchet. Should have grabbed the torque, one of my T handles. Nice. Huh, not too bad. I'm just gonna do the other side real quick as well. I actually think I'm gonna leave the OEM bolts because they're longer into the frame. I like the way that works a lot better. I'll just put those other ones as spares. Hi, garage dog. You helping again? Trying to. Alright. Just line that up. In the slots, make sure you see the frame hole through these two. That's kind of annoying. But I will say, the most annoying one was my beta. It was terrible. You had to like fish the bolt on an extension right there. It was so pain to line up. So I think we're gonna grab that's not the right size. One of these though. Way easier. There we go. Nice fit and finish. Tell you what, Enduro Engineering, it's not pretty. What a good product they make. Alright, so this guy's all set up. I started to look for my dielectric grease, and apparently I don't have it. So we're gonna put the tank back on, but apparently we're gonna have to do the electrical connections at a later date. Apparently I don't have it with me. All right, so let's put the tank back on. See how this goes. Such a sweet setup there with the fuel pump being in the back. Like there's nothing really underneath the tank. Very slick setup. Not gonna lie, not liking how that went on. That was a pain. So what was going on there is I couldn't get these tabs on the other side of the Enduro engineering thing. I had to really struggle, and see that one doesn't even really want to go on. Also, there, should be able to see something like that. Those 4 bolts that came with the Enduro engineering kit are 4 right here to make up for the thicker radiator guard, shroud setup, whatever you will. Also, cool thing was the radiators were perfectly straight. I didn't really point that out. They actually are very straight, which is impressive for a used bike. Definitely, if this bike has ever been put down, I would be surprised just from the perfection of that. Now, those stock louvers are better than any stock louver I've ever seen as far as thickness. I think you could almost get away with running those as radiator guards. I really do. But I have a habit of bending radiators, so better safe than sorry. I've ran these aluminum ones for the last 6-7 years, whatever it's been. Because I had a bike and I didn't even put 3 hours on it. Bent the dang radiator. So now we always do it. So those are really a nice fit and finish. I've never ran the Enduro Engineerings, not the actual guards. I've ran the braces, didn't love the braces. These guards are pretty sweet though. Let's see what else there is. We'll try, see about that Enduro Engineering tip. Yeah, see, I knew I had one. I don't know if it'll fit, but this is all for my beta. See if it does, I guess. I don't really want to eat it. Gotta find all my tools. A long stroke for that. Actually, it looks a little bent down. Blue Loctite disc, boys. That sucks. Yep, F this. Ugga dugga time. I don't feel like screwing this out. It's taking forever. Yep, little blue Loctite. The fuck was that from? Leftover dirt from Minios probably? Okay, let's see the difference in these. I always like these Enduros, but that is quite a bit smaller of a... Look at that. It's from the beta. I guess we're gonna put the stock one back on. I look at the sharpening it, but yeah, well, we tried. That will stay. I don't know. I thought the stock ones were supposed to be small, but that's pretty decent size, I guess. So I guess we'll keep it on. It's definitely not bigger. It's nice and smooth still. I should take that apart and throw a dab of grease in it, though. Maybe. Apparently it has a nut. I'm gonna be lazy and use these bad boys because I don't want to find the actual size. But these are by Clipex or Kinpex. Awesome set of freaking channel lock style pliers. Ooh, a little bit of white lithium up here. Let's take some of that. Since there was already some up there, I'm just gonna rub some of that all over that ball. Yeah, nice and greasy. Shove her back in the hole and re-put it back together. That's good enough for me. It doesn't have to be coated. You just want a real light layer. A lot of times I'll just use some silicone oil actually on a lot of these pivot joints. It sheds the oil, or it sheds the dirt, but still lubricates. So like all of these connections, I'll probably shoot a little bit of silicone grease or silicone oil. I'll actually go grab that real quick and I'll show you guys. So this is what I use, silicone quick drying WD. Awesome stuff. And I'll just shoot a little bit there, a little bit there, work it in. I'll even shoot some in the pegs. A little bit of that. Make sure everything works. Then also, I'll actually shoot some into the connection right there, like that. There. Do the same thing with the side. Then do a little bit of that. I'll even shoot some in here. And then if you have a kickstand, I always do that joint. Yeah, keeps everything working smooth. We got the garage dog. Yeah, you're cute, but one thing you do gotta watch is make sure you don't ever get some on your rotors. You will not have brakes. I used to take a little bit, put on a rag, and do my fork tubes before a race, but I stopped doing that because one time I accidentally got some on the brake rotor and never got it off, and it was a sketchy race. So let's see what else, what we got next. Oh, we got to button up we never buttoned up this. Boom, easy peasy, nice snap. Oh, check this out. I saw this off camera. Right here is your choke. How cool is that? Little choke. Super easy to feel, touch, flip off. I'm assuming that's idle adjustment. Looks like it. I'll have to look and actually read our owner's manual one of these days. But very solid. And this big hose does go right up here to the, what do you call that, the valve cover vent. Very nice. Very nice. So far, this is an extremely well built machine. You got the, wow, that's machined. Is it pre-hard? Feels like pre-hard. We got new, I don't have a new sprocket here. I have a new sprocket back there. I think I'm gonna wait, not put it on until I get the 18-inch rim. Now that I think about it, it seems really stupid to put it on the 19 and then swap it here in a couple weeks. So I am not gonna switch that over. Let's see, a little bit of dirt in there. Oh, I suppose we probably should check the brakes to see what we're looking at on those. So I guess that's what we'll do next. All right, we're back. Had to go find a Torx because I don't really carry those. That's the right way. Okay. Nick just put it on with a little extra oomph. Not bad. All right, so I got it apart. Not much grease on our pins and the other parts up here. So one of the things I like to do to brakes to make them super nice and glidey is replace the stock crap. This grease sucks. Not slick at all. This stuff is ridiculously slick. So with the pin, we got a little bit of minor galling in there. Gonna turn this drill into a lathe real quick. Then I use an old beat up piece of Scotch-Brite, and I just do one of these numbers on it and spin the drill. Smooths out any imperfections. Until it's nice and smooth. Now we're going to take the other side. Doesn't really matter because nothing slides out there. It really only slides in that section. So once we have it all cleaned up, we're going to take some of our ceramic brake grease. Not much. You only need about yay much. And we are going to slick this bad boy up. Real thin coats. That's all you need. Then I also like to clean this surface and do a little bit there as well. And then obviously the pin. So I'll start with the pin to get some of that. And then very minimal here. You don't want excess because it'll end up flinging onto your brakes, and that's no bueno. So any excess, you just want it real nice and thin. Okay, that's that part. The other part, I'm gonna take a little bit back to the bike and put it on that pin on the caliper. I did that off camera, you can't see it, but deal. Now, for these brake pads, you can see there's a little bit of dirt still impregnated in it. The big thing is to make sure those grooves are clean, which should be able to see through it, right? Yeah, they're pretty well cleaned out. So all I'm going to do is take wire brush, a little bit of alcohol solution, and get it on there, get it on the brush, make sure we don't have any oils. Then we are just going to scratch it up a little bit. There, I want my triangle. Like that. See how much dirt came out right there? Wipe it off. Look at all that. That's all brake dust that was in the pores. And I do that a little bit. A little bit more. Spray a little more alcohol on it. And you can see all the grit coming off. Kind of see a little difference, all right? And then I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. And I kind of go the same direction as what the brake's gonna stop in. A little bit cross, but mainly the main direction. Just do it a couple times until most of that black is out, which is just dirt, impregnated brake dust, whatever you want to call it. And then, to finish up, take a little bit of Scotch-Brite, soak that with some alcohol. Then I'm going to do the same thing with some Scotch-Brite. Now while I'm here, I'm going to clean up the edges, make sure there's no dirt, debris, anything on there. Just kind of clean up the whole shebang. Clean up the back, so it's nice and shiny. And then wiper clean. And then that is a nice, pretty, reconditioned brake. And I still got plenty of pad left on that. No need to change them out yet. Brembo actual brakes. So these are OEM. They didn't put any aftermarkets on. Thought about going to braking or something like that, but nah. We'll try our out stock. Then nice, fresh, pretty brakes. So we'll go reinstall these in the bike, and then that'll be a nice, smooth floating, good braking setup. So we'll do that now. We're back down here. Reinstall that guy, the 2 pins. Get them in there, nice and reseated. Everything's seated back up. All right, so we're back. What you missed was I threw the brake pads on, put the pin through. Nothing fancy, just kind of slapped it together. And then we're gonna reinstall our pins. I like to make sure that I get them on for one, but maybe figure out how to do this. There we go. So I don't like it that way because this is gonna go like that. I don't want the chance of it coming off. So I like to put it in the front so that when it's on there, it can't come off from getting snagged on something. And then same with this one. Just like that. So that if something hits it, it goes onto it, can't bust it off. So, spread our brakes. Get them onto the caliper, or on the rotor, I should say. Is it gonna go? Or do I need to, might have to push a little. Spread the pads a little. Come on, you know you want to. Stop being difficult. There. And we slap those on. Yeah, I'll throw some Loctite on those. I like to throw just a dab. Blue. This is just Loctite. What is it? 346 blue Loctite. Except it's Permatex. It's not name brand, so it's not quite as strong. But for our purposes, it'll be just fine. Throw that guy back together. I just do a little dugga. It's nothing fancy. Just make sure that it don't come off. And the blue Loctite will do the rest. Other thing you can do is put this up so it spins and wipe down your rotor with alcohol before a race. And you'll have way better braking performance. Pro tip, cleans out any brake dust or dirt out of the metal. Just gives you a nice clean surface to brake against. So yeah, that's something to do as well. Next step we're gonna do is take this off. This is our ground. You can see there's some crap on it. So I just like to take that off real quick. I think that's the wrong way. Yeah. So I'm just going to take that off, take my Scotch-Brite from earlier. I'm going to clean up the frame. I'm going to clean up the tab. Just make sure I get a nice good connection for my ground. No problems, that kind of stuff. You can throw a little bit of dielectric grease on the surface contacting the frame. So in between those two. It's not mandatory. It's something you can do if you're worried about corrosion. So say if you were in Florida or something like that, you could do that. But I'm just gonna clean it up, both surfaces, and then reinstall the bolts right back on. So I'll just push that right back to where it was. Start the threads. Make sure it's started before you go putting any kind of impact on. A nice little dug. I don't think I lost a washer or anything right now. Doesn't look like it. Nice, good, solid connection to the aluminum frame. Looks like they're using some sort of zert in a lot of the aluminum. Huh. Interesting. Next, we're going to put our panel back on. Now, one of the things to note is you have this little L here. It's got to go right in here, up between the plastics, and it kind of hooks in. So once you have that, then everything else lines up. Non-flange bolt. Oh, you got a little tab right here that's got to slip into the fender, like so. Nice design. Really like that, actually. And then the one without a flange goes in the top. That'll be what holds our seat on. One short one with the flange goes down here, right into the frame. What's pulling? We got something pulling on something. No, just a little flex. Okay. Ooh, that's not what I want. I popped out the little aluminum insert on the plastic. Don't want to do that. I want to make sure that stays there so I don't destroy the plastics. Okay, that's kind of annoying. That's really annoying, actually. That's not wanting to go. Okay. What are you doing wrong? Looks like I'm pulling the plastic down towards the foot peg at that corner. I'm just gonna ease it in. Then I don't like to put an impact on it. Anything like that's attaching the plastics. Just a little 1/4 inch ratchet. Good to go. I'm gonna save all of these connections for later. I don't have my dielectric grease, so I'm gonna have to go back to my dad's and steal that back, since I know that's where it's at. We'll throw that one on real quick. Nice guy. Again, it has the same tab there in the front, and then you have the tab back here that goes into the fender. So, slipped in, and then this side has a long one with a washer. And that's just the long one with the washer is just to go past the thick flange on the fender, and then there's one of those inserts on the next set of plastic back here. You gotta go through both. Again, we just hold it in place, screw it in, and then take our little 1/4 inch ratchet, give it a nice little tightening, wham bam and done. Next up, if I can get the angle right, is I'm going to pop this screen out. as long as it comes out nice, which it looks like it will. Looks like you just kind of push straight down and it'll come off. Maybe. Maybe not. Holy cow. That's really in there. Huh. Well, that's annoying. Let's see if we can do it with a little bit of pop. Wow, that's actually in there really good. And again, you don't need a backfire screen because Twin Airs have that second color of the Twin Air is actually a fire retardant material, so you don't actually need it. Let's see, what do I want to use for that? Maybe some snippies. Is this gonna make it any easier? Not really, but this is actually obnoxiously annoying. And I know people are like, well, you need that. No, you don't. I took it out on the KX and it runs way better without it. If anything, it's a California Europe spec, which is stupid. I don't know. You guys can kill me in the comments, but I don't really care. I'm still taking it out. I almost got it to peel the whole way. I will say the one on the KX was way easier than this. It's not nearly as annoying. But it's like, the screen is like melted into the plastic. I'll give them that. The build quality on it's phenomenal, but it's still annoying. And there's gonna be a crap load of cleanup I'm gonna have to do with all this. So, I don't know. I might just cut to the final product because you probably don't want to stand here watching this for the next, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. So, I'll cut to the final. Alright, so this was with the wire snips. Did alright. A lot of excess. Now what I'm going to do is use thin snips, and I'm just going to clean it up. And these things are, if you've never used them before, they're immaculate. We use them for zip ties, and so in the automation world, so if you have a zip tie, most of the time when you cut it with side cutters, right, you have that whole edge, right, and you can use thin snips, and they're also known as flush cuts, and you can have it flush so that it's nice, pretty, looks more professional, won't cut you when you're messing around. So I'm going to use those. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, anywhere. These are just a cheap set I got from work. So we're going to go through and clean all that up, and I'll show you the final product. Alright, so this is the final product. Got all the screen off, nice and clean. Should be good. Not gonna lie, if I would have known how long that was going to take, I don't know if I would have done it. That was a pain in the ass. But I have a couple stragglers I got to get yet. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of annoying that you had to do that, but I don't know if that was worth it or not. I'm going to be honest, that was a pain in the ass. But I'll get this reinstalled. Alright, next up we got ODI grips. And I have bark busters incoming. So I'm going to prep this by cutting off the end with a handy dandy knife. Now I just like to cut that little bubble off when I do this. Now I know there's plastic underneath this. But I think, if I remember right, you can cut through the plastic with this knife.
It's a pain, but it's doable. But it actually works a lot nicer than drilling the thing. And yeah, I just cut that little bubble off of the ODI. Let's see if we can do this without getting a major cut gash in my hand. I'm very prone to getting those. There we go. So you just cut just that bubble off. You have a little bit more to get right there. But that'll give us a nice, pretty fit when my Acerbis bark busters come in. With the same ones I have on the KX. Acerbis has treated me well on it. I used to always do Circa Pro bends. And I like those, but they don't always fit the handlebar setups. And then I tried the Enduro Engineering, flag style, aluminum mounts. They were okay, but I broke them a lot. A lot more issues with breaking levers, where with full wraps, I do not. And you have less bending of the bar itself, to be honest. Now this is a much cleaner job if you do it on the first cut, but whatever. The fudge we got here? Sort of bar end thing. Okay, it's the plastic art dessert. Nice. So those are buzzed off. Nice, mostly straight. And then cheapest mod you can do to save your hands. Get these bad boys. Does it come off? Nope. Put it on, and you forget, because you won't have any random blisters on your hands. Right here, you get them all the time, and these save you. So love those. And then I will do the bark busters when they get in, and then you just repeat the other side. It's really not very complex. Well, I think that might be all we're gonna do for today. Tonight, I guess. Yeah. Where's our... I don't even know where that's supposed to be on these, but it's set up for the first one at 5 mil down. Okay. Well, I think that's what we're gonna do for the bike for tonight. I got all the plastics back. I do need to get some dielectric grease, get that all figured out. Maybe take this crap off my frame, clean it up with some Scotch-Brite. I clean up the swing arm a bit, but yeah. Oh, I need to do the brake yet, but you guys already saw the front. I think, actually, I'm gonna wait on that until I get the new rear. I think that's when I'll put my shark tooth on, the different sprocket, all that fun stuff. Seat is super grippy. Does look like I have a small tear right there, probably from flipping boots over. Yeah. Oil dip, probably. Nope. Yep. Pretty cool. I do need to swap out the coolant probably for engine ice. Way better at cooling, and I have a tendency to beat the crap out of bikes, so the cooling is usually a problem. Yeah, so anyway, this is about it for now. Little review of the bike. You can check everything out. More to come. Like I said, I have graphics coming. I'll have to get a radiator fan for this thing coming. Probably just do a Tusk universal. Put her here on this side, similar to how I did my KX. I'm getting the frame guards, per usual. I love the way those feel, so that's why I get those. The seat,
Normally we'd go with a ribbed, but these are so grippy. It feels like a gut seat, like that grippiness. It just doesn't have the ribs, which I love the ribs. It's what I got on the KX. And I really enjoyed that. I don't know if I'll put the cover on myself. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see what I think of it. For now, I have heard a lot of guys are swapping these out for YZs to make it feel better, but I mean, it looks like it's in a pretty good position. I don't know why they'd complain about it, but we'll see. Haven't even fired up the bike yet, to be honest. Should we fire it up, dog? I bet she'll go nuts, but well, what time is it? 8:30. I'll only piss off the neighbors a little bit, so we'll see. Let the fuel pump hit. Dog's all excited. Normally when I fire up the bike, she gets to go for a run, so she's all excited. Sounds good. It sounds a little bit quieter than the KX. Not gonna lie. Doesn't quite have the same, a little bit deeper pitch maybe. Smells like it's running good. Fuel pump was a little off on the prime. That was probably just because I dumped the fuel out of the line, is my guess. I don't know, we'll have to see. Monitor that. It should run good. I know the KX is amazing. You pump that thing, you tap the thing, and then let the fuel pump prime. Next hit, it's starting. Really strong starter. So I do love the KX for that. I like the KX in a lot of ways. Just, I don't know. The really got burnt with it blowing up on me. And this was one heck of a deal. Really excited about it. Really excited to have two bikes, honestly. I think I'm gonna keep the KX as like a dedicated practice bike. These are the handguards I'm putting on the Triumph. I'm gonna have black, but it's going to be, I think, black, and then the letters are white. I don't know. I thought it'd look cool with the color scheme of the Triumph. I probably won't do an exhaust just because I think it's ridiculous putting $1,000 onto an exhaust for 1 to 2 horsepower maybe of gain. So honestly, I probably won't do anything with it. Maybe get one if I break it, but we'll see. I'm kind of under the impression of just waiting and getting a 450 if I want more power, but I don't know. Definitely swapping out the 100 rear, going to a 110. Probably won't do the 120. I don't know. Probably just do a 110. Stick with that. Definitely going to try the 18-inch rear, see what that's all about. Do some new gearing. I think I'm going to swap and put new gearing on the KX as well. Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll do another video when I get the rest of my parts coming in. Should be in the next week or two. I don't know about the rear wheel. I think that's still a week or two out, but I do know some of the parts are coming in this week probably, so we'll have some of that. The plastics are being the plastics, I can get the plastics. The graphics are being printed. Gonna wait and slap those on before I put them on the bike. I prefer to do the graphics in the house where it's warm. I can sit down at the table, do that kind of fun stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.